Right, good morning. Curtain is up, as you can see, because it is flipping cold now. It's just December, so yeah, the curtain's up, and it will remain that way until spring. So I've got some stuff in now that I've ordered, which I'll take you through now, and I'm hopefully going to get on with this build. I want to get a rolling chassis so I can move it around. So I'll show you where we are. Right, that sorry, I've got a bit of a cold as well. Right, that is the frame. Starting to put a bit of furniture on. As you can see, there's the rear shocks just hanging down there. Brand new. I put the rear mudguard on, this sort of plastic. I love a bit of plastic. Plastic is the best stuff ever. You just clean it and it's as good as new. No welding, no mucking about, no painting, no nothing. Clean, new. If it's in good shape, it's in good shape. If it's cracked, it's useless. So plastic is your friend. So yeah, that's that. And I have got, as I said previously, these bikes with the donor bikes were a wreck. Yeah, my phone would start beeping now. So all the wheels were useless. So I've had to source wheels. What I've done is I've got one wheel very cheap that I managed to find on Facebook Marketplace. It's from a CG125. As you can see, it's the Brazil model. It's got the larger, sort of quite weird offset drum brake. But that's wheel, tyre and inner tube, all in one, all very good to go and in very good condition. So I'm not going to do my usual and paint these black. Because I don't need to, they're not in that bad a state, so they're going to be chromed. I couldn't get a second-hand rear wheel, so I bought one brand new. This is an 18-inch, basically a CG. It's not only CG125s that would use this type of wheel, but it's CG125. It comes, as you can see here, wheel, no tyre, no inner tube, etc. But it has got the rear sprocket, it has got the spacer and axle, all brand new, and the insert hub. I've got plenty of these and I could have used these, but this comes with one. And as you can see, this is off that front wheel, and you can see the difference in the size of those drum brakes. On my other two bikes, the blue and the orange, front and rear are both this size of drum brake. This, like I say, it's the CG125 Brazilian model. It's got the upgraded front drum. So they're all ready to go. As you can see down there, I've got a new tyre and an inner tube. And I've blasted down and painted the triple clamps at the front. They've all come up very nice. And as I showed you before, I've got the forks, so hopefully I can get the front end of this thing sorted today, and I hope to get the back wheel on. Obviously, putting the tyre on, you don't want cold weather, so I've had the tyre in my house all last night, so before it gets too cold, that's going to be my first job, chucking the tyre on that rim. Yeah, because that can be a right old mission. So yeah, I'll let you know how I get on. Right, this inner tube just came on its own. I was half expecting and rather hoping that it would have the internal strip. It's just a small strip of rubber that goes over these, because these are a little bit sharp. These are the ends of the spokes. They're a little bit sharp, so you really need a strip. I was going to just use tape or order a strip, but I don't want to order a strip because I don't want to wait for it to come in. So what I've done, I've got these during the process of doing the other builds that I've done. These are old inner tubes, pretty useless and old. They're from my previous builds, which are 17-inch wheels, 17-inch rims. So what I'm hoping to do is just cut a strip out of one of those and use that as the protective strip inside. So I'm quite glad I remembered those and sort of kept them. I sort of kept them because rubber comes in quite useful for a lot of things. But I suddenly remembered those, and I can hack up one of those, hopefully. Being a 17-inch, it'll just stretch a little bit and will act as a protective strip. So I'm going to get my scissors out and see how I get on with that. Boom! A bit of hacking and scissoring, and there you go, there's my strip. There's the rest of that, which can go over there near the bin. Right, I shall chuck that on now and see if it works. Right, success. There is my protective band. It was too big and sagging, so I cut it down and super glued the two bits together. But that will be absolutely fine. So I'm going to get the inner tube and tyre on now, which could be a drama. They're always a bit tricky, so I'll give that a go. Boom, it is on, and that wasn't too much of a drama. A few top tips for getting the tyres on. Firstly, plenty of talcum powder. Remember to put a hole, obviously if you buy one of these internal protection strips, it'll already have a hole in it. I just punched a hole in mine where the join is to give it a little bit more strength. I didn't have to use washing up liquid. Sometimes you have to, just to lubricate the sides. And always remember the direction of travel of the tyre. Otherwise you'll just have to take it off again, turn it around and put it on the other way, which I've done before. This doesn't have a direction of travel because it's a cheap tyre, but yeah, remember that, or you'll get caught out. But yeah, that's on now, so I'm going to pump that up. Hope it holds air, which it should do, unless I've nicked the inner tube, which I don't think I did. So yeah, a little bit of success. Right, we've got problems, big problems. I'll show you. I've got a real problem with the front end of this bastard. Look, these are the triple clamps. These are the original ones. And those are from a CG. These fit C90s, CT90s, etc., and obviously it's a CG. As you can see, these are slightly wider, and also they're very different. This top yoke is just pressed steel, if you like. These here are wider and very thin. These alloy ones here are smaller and longer, so the forks to fit either of those are completely different. Also, you possibly can't see very well, this one, which is for the H100, is a lot shorter. These small recesses here are for the bearings, these to drop into. Yeah, that's a big problem. I simply can't use CG triple clamps on this. Can't do it, short of buying myself a milling machine and a lathe. Or rather a lathe, not a milling machine. I can't use them, it's as simple as that. Which is a problem. Because I bought forks. I've got an entire CG front end, which would work fine on a C90 or whatever, but it won't work on this bike. So, I'm going to have to look at the forks and come out with an extremely cunning solution to this problem. But yeah, I'll take you through the fork situation now. Right, these are the original forks from the H100. As you can see, they're totally beyond it. The stanchions here are corroded badly, so you've got a seal in here. These are full of, or half full of oil, and they've got a spring in, etc. But every time this corrosion passes through that seal, it'll act as a saw, and it'll just saw up the seal, completely ruin it within minutes, and then all the oil will leak down there. And everyone with a motorbike knows all about leaking forks. These are very cheap forks. These are steel. As you can see, everything's welded on. I don't like them. They're not very nice. But the important bit, well, two important bits really, the length, width of this, and also the end. This, you can't see very well. That's the end. It's got this top oil seal, and this goes through the triple clamp at the top and holds the top triple clamp on. So that's the original. Obviously it's not going to be used. Not that one. These are my beautiful brand new CG forks. This is just a dust protector. They've got an internal spring. Same with the old ones. Unlike my original CT90, which has got an external spring. Anyway, that's unimportant. Stanchions are the same width. As you can see, it's got an alloy formed pot, which is nice. But the end, importantly, is completely different. You've got this sort of stepped piece here, which fits perfectly into the alloy type CG top triple clamp. So these, very simply, cannot be used with that. They need to be used with that. Okay, so that's the problem I've got. I just happen to have in a load of spares that I bought, a load of spares for a CG, which I'm quite surprised about. I've only just looked at it now that I've got this problem. But I've got another fork, which I'll show you. This is a CG fork, almost the same as the one I just showed you. As you can see, alloy pot. There is some corrosion on the stanchions there. It might be able to be cleaned up, I don't know. But importantly, it's got the same end that will fit the triple clamp from the H100. So these forks will fit this triple clamp. So that's going to have to be my option. It's as simple as that. I cannot use CG clamps. I just can't do it. Everything's wrong about them. So I'm going to have to use my original triple clamp setup. I'm just going to have to either somehow, I mean, I could bastardise my new forks into here. I obviously can't use the stanchion, which is the bit that I want, because it's got a different end. But I can almost certainly use the pot, but I don't think I need to, because it's alloy. It'll clean up easily enough anyway. So yeah, this is one I'm going to have to sleep on a little bit, do a bit of research on. I might see if I didn't see those types of forks. I might be able to buy new versions of that kind of fork. I'll have to have a look at that, because for the sake of 100 odd quid, that might be the way forward. I can just sell or keep for future projects my brand new CG forks, and I've got a CG front end as well. I can use all this stuff or sell it. It's all you know, reasonably desirable stuff. I'm not the only bloke in the country who mucks around making silly little motorbikes. So yeah, that's a problem. You get problems like this on builds. It's not unusual because I've swapped models now. I'm not mucking around with C90s anymore, CT90s. You know, it's a completely different model. So yeah, you know, you get stuff like this. I'm not going to cry myself to sleep over this. It's just a problem I'm going to have to overcome. Unfortunately, I can't get this bloody thing into a rolling chassis today, which annoys me. But that's just the way it is. So yeah, I'll try and fill in the day doing something half constructive. Right, good morning. Just a bit of an update now. You'll probably see in the clips following this the sort of progress I've been making. So this is the sort of end of it, if you like, at the moment. But yeah, the bike, the little Honda H100a, is coming along. So I've decided to go for a yellow paint scheme, which is basically just the tank and the side panels. So I've had a bit of drama with that, which I'm hoping to sort out today. But I'll show you that first. Right, there you go, that is the yellow. It's actually, I'm rattle canning this. This is Rover Inca yellow, just from Halfords. It's just a rattle can job. As I may have mentioned before, this tank is the original H100a, so you've got petrol, there's an oil gauge here, and oil. It's a two-stroke, goes in there, so it's I quite like it. It's quite different having that. But there's been a problem. I basically painted it, rattled it up a couple of days ago. I've let it dry thoroughly using a drying room, and I'm not going to make the same mistake on this one which I made on my other bikes. You have to be very careful when you lacquer this. You can buy stuff that says petrol resistant paint, but it can cause issues. Allow me to demonstrate. I'm just going to walk through my... If you don't get it right, it can cause problems like that. The paint will strip, sorry, the petrol will strip the paint. This I'm going to tidy up with some of this lacquer, which I'll show you in a minute. Doesn't really matter on this bike. You know, the top of the petrol tank is covered, but it does matter on this other one, if I can get through here without falling over. But it does matter on this, obviously, because they're totally exposed. So what I'm going to do, I've had a bit of a problem yesterday. You might be able to see, I don't know if you can or not, you can see spitting here. I used a can of lacquer, which I've had for a while, haven't used it, and it was still in date. But you get it with rattle cans. It was a Duff rattle can. It was spitty, so just spat a load of stuff onto the tank, which meant I just had to stop. So I've got to stop. I put it in a heat room last night, so it's totally dry. I'm going to lightly sand it today, and then use another lacquer which I bought. I bought this stuff from Halfords. It is petrol resistant lacquer clear, ideal for motorcycle petrol tanks, which funnily enough is what it's going to be used for. So I'm hoping that does the trick. So what I'm going to do, because I can't fuck this up, I've got to get this right, otherwise I'll just ruin it completely. This will start peeling. So I'm going to take out these. I'm going to file, or sort of clean all the excess paint from around these. So when the caps are on, it'll cover them, but I want the lacquer to completely cover any paint. I don't want there to be a gap. Paint and then lacquer on top, because the petrol will then eat away at the paint, and it will just strip all this. So yeah, I've got to, rub all that down so that it's just bare metal in this inside bit here, and then when I lacquer, it'll lacquer on top of that. So hopefully that'll work then, because otherwise, like you've seen the result on my orange bike, it'll mess it up a bit. So, and here, these are unlacquered, and as you can see, they've got a sort of satin finish, but they're going to be lacquered with the same stuff. And we have something that's beginning to look a little bit like a motorbike now. I can't get any further back, I'm afraid. But as you can see, it's sort of coming along. That's the seat that I made. I had to sort out the base as much as I could, and then muck about, put some more foam in, and the seat cover I bought on eBay. It's brand new. So yeah, here we go. The forks, there were problems with the forks, as I've mentioned before, but they do work on the original triple clamps. Original triple clamps, and those CG125 forks with this second-hand wheel that I bought on Facebook, with this upgraded, bigger drum brake. It's only loosely chucked together at the moment, just so I can iron out any other problems which I've had. As you can see, the centre stand is on a block of wood because the shocks I bought for the back are possibly a little bit too long, but it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to wait until the bike's finished. I'm not going to change them. But that rear wheel is brand new. It's got a large axle, so I've actually filed down the inside of the swing arm just enough and very carefully to fit that axle. It's the easiest way. Another way to do it, of course, would be to either sleeve get a smaller axle and sleeve it just for inside the wheel, or change the bearings. But I decided that the better way, which is the way I originally wasn't going to do it, was to adjust the swing arm, file out the swing arm so that fits, and I've done that. I did it very carefully, but I consider that a good job and a good solution. So that's that done. So yeah, there we have it. It's starting to look a bit more motorcycle-y now. I've just chucked on some switch gear and stuff, just to basically, you know, make me feel better. Looks like I've done more progress than I have. They're only just chucked on, as you can see. But yeah, it's all beginning to look like it's sort of coming together now. So yeah, it's quite a nice feeling being here. I'm starting to see things happen now. Engine there. Once the weather's a bit brighter, I'm going to take it outside and just give it a quick blasting. I've got like a blasting pot there, so I can do outside stuff. It doesn't have to fit into the sandblaster. It's a bit rough, but it works quite well. I'll just make sure everything's covered, so you know the media can't get into the engine, and just blast up these bits a bit, just clean it up a bit. I've taken apart bits of clip-on bolt-ons for the engine just to clean up. This, for example, is the oil, the auto lube for the two-stroke oil, which goes onto the engine. It's driven by the engine, wherever it is in there. That's the drive for it, and that fires oil into the carb manifold, so it auto lubes it. Various other bits there, fuel pipe, some bracketry, etc. And here, these are the Honda things, which would originally have looked like this. I've matte blacked them, and I think they might just work like that. Otherwise, I might have to somehow sort of sand down the surface, which I'm thinking of doing to make it more perhaps like the originals. Don't know yet, we'll see about that. But yeah, things are coming together. It's nice now. You know, it's gone from a pile of junk and rust in the corner of my workshop to sort of coming together, starting to look nice now. So I'm quite happy about that. So yeah, once the basic build, all this sort of painting and, you know, fabrication and mucking about is done, building, then obviously it's all the big work of wiring and finishing and fettling and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm in quite a good place now. It's starting to come together, and it's you know, and it's looking like a real thing rather than just a pile of junk. So yeah, I'll see you in part 3 whenever that comes. Should be a bit quicker now. I didn't even mean to start this last time when I did the painting of the frame, but because of the blasting and whatnot, I needed to start it in the summer, which I don't normally do. I'll ride in the summer, build in the winter. Okay, catch you on part 3. See you later. Bye.